Last Ceann Comhairle, I'm certainly not in the habit of correcting colleagues or anything, but I think the reality of the Irish Maritime Development Organisation's released review this week has certain cohorts under the illusion that we have extra ships brought on. So I'd like to correct that miscommunication. There are no extra ships at this point in time being brought on to service the land bridge traffic. But the review was to include factors such as an overview of the freight volumes through Irish ports, focusing on the particular land bridge traffic, which is ro-ro traffic, roll-on, roll-off, with trucks and drivers, as well as low-load traffic, which is load-on, lift-off, lift-on, lift-off, no trucks, no drivers, and it's the minuscule numbers of what would be regarded on land bridge traffic. It took into account factors and supply factors, as well as demand factors and supply factors, as well as a case for state intervention in the shipping market. In summary, Ceann Comhairle, that report states freight demand will be lower than normal in 2021. And as a word of caution, I say that this review was carried out in Q2 of 2020 in the middle of a pandemic when most of Europe was in lockdown from a manufacturing perspective. And this means that there would not be a true reading of movements during this time. Another conclusion of the report was that the supply of capacity will be higher than normal in January 21. Again, this is not true in relation to land bridge traffic. Land bridge traffic will not be catered for on lift-on, lift-off routes, where the IMDO says the capacity is, and furthermore, Rosslare Europort, which is the most strategic port and provides the shortest crossing to mainland Europe, does not have facilities required for lift-on, lift-off container ships. Thereby, any extra capacity is on much longer sea routes than a direct roll-on, roll-off service of 18 hours. And in some cases, the capacity that we're expected to use as an alternative takes 38 hours in length on a shipping journey. At a time when Minister Coveney said, we can subsidise, but it's not currently required. Well, this report states that state intervention is problematic and the case has not been made that it is necessary at this time. That's not true either. The case has been made continually by the customers of these shipping providers and the IRHA. But the IMDO didn't ask the IRHA, nor did it ask any of the pharmaceutical companies that I spoke to or some of the major food producers of which I spoke to. They only asked the current shipping providers, from what I can tell, which is the equivalent of asking turkeys to vote for Christmas. Ceann Comhairle, a move to direct routes from the land bridge will increase shipping costs in the supply chain by 30% in one fell swoop, to that of the supply chain and its service providers. That is detrimental in most cases and far too much to bear in this climate. Neither COVID nor Brexit are of our making, and a subvention to eliminate this cost until the dust settles on Brexit is a must, or jobs will be lost. The Taoiseach told the House yesterday that the IMDO is informing government policy. So for the reasons I've outlined and the misinformation provided by the IMDO's report, it can only mean that the government's policy on shipping and ensuring that the land bridge traffic suffers the least interruption will be flawed also. What the government's policy should be is to ensure an efficient, effective daily service is put in place now. This service requires extra ships being chartered and placed into a service from a port that is the closest in line, time-wise, to the current land bridge service of 13.5 hours. And that means Rosslare Europort must have a daily service. This may require a subvention, Minister, from government, which we were told at the outset that the EU would support Ireland, and it would be if it was disproportionately affected by Brexit. Well, that time is now. We are disproportionately affected. The Connecting Europe facility, commonly known as the EU Connectivity Fund for infrastructural investment in transport, aimed at greater connectivity between European Union member states. This fund is available and must be drawn down to prepare Rosslare Europort to be the direct access port to mainland Europe. This must happen in the national interest. The Taoiseach said last night that it's never too late. Well, let's act now and ensure that this happens before it is too late and businesses and jobs are irreparably affected.
Thank you, Deputy.